Greek-speaking unidentified Gentiles that we know are Israelites of the dispersion,
Amen.
who are coming into leadership positions now, beginning with the apostolic fathers, continuing with the Christian apologists, and then their students became known as the Christian Church Fathers, and this is where Eusebius of Caesarea, Firminius, Lactantius, Basil the Great, Gregory of Nazianzen, Cyril of Jerusalem, Ephraim of Syria, Hilary of Poitiers, Ambrose, Epiphanius, John Chrysostom, he's in our prayer book. This whole big family of Christian church fathers. Here is what we're going to have to understand now, church. We're coming to a big battle. Already by the end of the first century, this distance between the Greek-speaking, unidentified Gentile part of the church is falling into conflict with the old Judean part of the church. The old Judean part of the church says, we're going to celebrate Passover on the 14th day of the month Nisan or Abib, regardless of the day of the week that it's going to fall on. But the Gentile world, now listen carefully, they're beginning to soften Christianity down. They're going to begin to accommodate the pagan world. So we're going to have a part of the church now that's going to start trying to marry the world. Let's bring the world into the church so we can all get along
Amen.
And move along. And that's where the beginning of the Sabbath controversy starts. When you come to the end of the first century, there is universal agreement pretty much among all Christians that the seventh day of the week is the true Bible Sabbath. There was no controversy. But the deeper we move into time, the more cleavage there's going to be, because the Romans had one of their religious belief systems was Mithraism, and Sunday was called the veneration of the sun. That was the day that was to be celebrated in honor of the sun god. So it was only natural that the Roman emperor would like Christianity to become more compatible with the religion of the empire. That's going to lead us eventually to the complete change from Sabbath to Sunday. Now, I just remind you that there is a stalwart part of the church that's unmoved. John the Apostle taught Polycarp. Polycarp comes on in his day, and he refuses to budge on Passover and the celebration of the 14th of Abib, regardless of the day of the week it falls on. On the other hand, here comes another part of the church in the West that's being influenced by the Roman emperor, and they're wanting to merge Passover into a synchronization with the worship of Sunday. So they want Passover to be celebrated on a Sunday. Forget about the 14th of Abib. And you have another part of the church, the old Judean part, that says, no, 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 no. We're not going to alter God's law. Now, if I were living back then, church, and knew what I know now, I would be with that group. Because that means, see, either we're going to build our belief system from the Bible, or we're going to throw the Bible away and roll our own.
Amen.
And that's what the church world has done. They have discarded the Bible in preference for writing their own theology. They have only borrowed from the Bible when it was convenient. Now, you could say, well, I think this is a prejudiced, a biased view of the church. And to that I would respond by saying, church, I am biased. Yes, I am. I am biased in favor of the Word of God. I am biased. I am prejudiced for God. I am prejudiced in that I believe God holds all truth and not pagan-minded people. So, we're concluding this lesson today by simply saying that I have in my hand here, I have the Edict of Constantine issued in 321 AD, when Constantine issued an official order as the emperor of the Roman Empire that Sunday would be the new Sabbath. Now, for all of you, just remember this, that until the year 321 AD, that's almost 300 years after Jesus was crucified, where Christians continued to be Sabbatarian worshipers. It took an edict of the Roman Empire, the Roman Emperor Constantine, to formally announce to all Christians that the new Sabbath would be Sunday. And he gave a proclamation, which I'd like to read, but I've run out of time. So secondly, that wasn't quite enough. In 364 AD, a few years on down the road, the church is going to call a big council called the Council of Laodicea. In 364 AD, the church, this time, not the Roman emperor, the church itself, issues a proclamation that all Christians to be in good standing from henceforth will be required to work on the Bible's Sabbath and rest on Sunday. So the hammer came down in 364 AD. It shows you how relentless they had to be to get to root out Sabbath keeping. The truth is, there were hundreds, maybe thousands of Christians that wouldn't surrender. And they continued to exist outside of the organized church. And that's why the Sabbath has never ceased from being obeyed on this earth. There's never been a time when there were not Sabbath-keeping people. Now, 364 and the Council of Laodicea. Now, this is all history. You can go, you can do your own research. You can find this out for your own selves. And I'm going to end this lesson today by saying this, church. The choice you have is to build your life from the Bible or to lay the Bible aside and place your trust in the hands of those that have married the church with paganism in the world. That's exactly where you are. You have that choice before you. Now, as for me, I am going to stand on the Bible. I hope that there's people standing with me. But I'm going to stand on the Bible, and like Martin Luther said, here I stand, I can do none else. I'm going to stand on the Bible. Let's be standing.